This is Season 2, Episode 29 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and I've brought some nonsense.
Yes, Sam's already broken his promise of bringing the same list again. But hey, I have, so
I
regular.
just kind of figured it'd be a bit dull to have a repeat. Like,
I mean-
sure, it wouldn't have gone exactly the same, but
I mean,
would it have gone much different? Like, as in,
it
I did
might.
in theme, not as in result. I mean, in theme. Like, I would fly at you, and you would try to get a right engage, and then we would roll dice, and one of us would die.
It would have been interesting to see how I went about getting the right engage, because last week's clearly wasn't. But
That's fair. But I decided that our viewers could do with some nonsense for a break away from the droids, because I've flown a gigantic droid swarm for the past lots of episodes.
that is fair. So I have brought the same list of Y-Wing Anakin, Plo, Rick, Oddball, and the 212th pilot. So we'll jump straight to your list, Sam.
I have Siege Coruscant Dooku, and he obviously has Malice, Roiling Anger, and the Scimitar title. I have Darth Maul in the Infiltrator with Malice, Hate, and Chancellor Palpatine, and I have Aura Singh in the Fire Spray with Proton Cannons, Seismic Charges, Contraband Cybernetic, the Slave One title, and the Boba Fett Gunner. Because, fun fact, Boba Fett Gunner triggers way more often on Proton Cannons than on anything else.
Yeah.
Because it only cares about the firing arc. And if I have multiple ships in the bullseye, fine, I guess. Ironically, the one time I do fire the proton cannons, I have my own ship in the bullseye, which is a little unfortunate.
So we're playing Chance Engagement, which I thought was quite interesting because you give up a lot more for half points, but I've got more individual half points to give up.
Yeah. It is quite interesting, and it's like, I guess it's. I was about to say, like, and also my ships in theory should take more focusing down, but then I was like, well, actually, I have less ships to focus your stuff down, so effectively, like, most of our ships would take the entire enemy list to shoot at to die a lot of the time.
Yes.
I guess the flip side for me is that I might get lucky and like oddball blanks and whoopsies.
You're more likely to fluke a one shot.
Yeah.
But with the amount of greens, I'm more likely to just get consistent damage.
Yes, exactly.
Like, yes, I could die, or I could just dodge everything. So yeah, I felt that was quite interesting. So, jumping straight to the obstacles, Sam has brought, obviously, the Pride of Mandalore rocks.
Bringing large ships doesn't stop you from bringing large rocks.
I have brought the 3 small rocks because I want space for the Lat and Anakin, and also, if you had brought droids, it's less rocks for you to land on. I don't want to bring gas clouds, I want to bring stuff that gives me space.
Yep, makes sense. And we're playing Chance, and essentially we end up with 2 rows of 3 on either person's side of the board. Like, the row on my side is slightly slanted towards the center, so there's like on my left there's one that's basically 2 and 2. And the middle it's nearer the middle objective, and then on my right it's almost the center line. But there's like a roughly even space in between all of the rocks, enough to slide a large base through.
See, interestingly, that wasn't because I placed all the rocks that are on your side of the board, and you placed all the ones on mine. And my thing there wasn't so much about stopping a gap for the large bases. It was making sure that you couldn't circle around the outside of those and still be range 2.
Yep, that makes sense.
Like, I basically wanted to force you into the center gap, because I think I have the advantage there because you have less space.
Yeah, you got the small ships, and this isn't this isn't Assault the Satellite Array where you have to like overwhelm the center. Just one guy in the center, not getting shot at will keep you points. Whereas mine, I just placed them basically as far back as I could and out of the way because I know I just want space. And I have no reason to want rocks anywhere strategic, really. I just wanted enough space in the middle to move my ships around.
So, on the ships, we overlap at Initiative 5. So basically, if Sam's first player... I always move the Lat first, and then if Sam's first player, he moves everything. If I'm first player...
And if
the 5s go...
It goes Lat, Aura, then your 5s, then my 5s.
Yeah. I am first player for setup. So I place the lats to the left-hand side of the rock that is in the centre of my middle row, where it's basically going to amble into the centre and either go left, straight, or right, depending on where you set up the ships.
Yep, makes perfect sense. So I then set up Aura on my far left, not like right at the back, right at the front, in the middle, because I was trying to eye up a 3-bank to the right, aiming towards the centre. Because of where you'd place the 212, I was like, okay, that's coming forwards and then probably ambling into the centre. And if Aura 3 banks, I think I'm aiming my proton cannon at about where you should be on turn 2, was my thought. I mean, obviously, if you did some stop shenanigans, that would mess it up. But I had plenty of space to get Aura into the center, and then I could see where you put your 5s. Because, notably, because you were first player, you put your 5s down first, so I didn't have to deploy the infiltrators in silly positions.
Yeah. So I do put my 5s down, and I set up Oddball just to the left of the right-hand rock on my side, facing to the right, basically, so I can 1 hard, be below that rock, enough space to boost either side. I can fit in a barrel roll. I can judge it on where you put your 5s, what Aura actually does, and go from there. I placed Rick on the far left because he's either going to shoot up that side fast and swing round fast to get the Rick shenanigans, or if you put both infiltrators over there, he's going to 2 hard right turn 1 and 5 straight away turn 2. And then I make a mistake. It's a small mistake, but I place Plo to the left of the Lart. Because I want Plo near the Lart to get the rerolls, because obviously with the CLT, that can really start punching. But also I want him near there if he can pass the take the reinforce from Corky or his own ability. But what I should have done was actually just set him up to the left of the Moustache Rock, gone round the outside of that and come in. Because I effectively achieve the same thing. But if I do want to slow ball, I can't hugely do it from there because they can't 1 straight.
Right.
So I'm committed to at least a 2. And I was considering doing a stop with the Lart turn 1 and then slow rolling. And I can do that with Anakin alongside. But the Delta's a little bit too fast for that. Whereas I would have had more than enough time to, 3 straight turn 1 up the Moustache Rock, turn in, go from there, etc., etc.
So that's interesting that you said this. I think, had you placed Plo with Rick, I might have been really tempted to drop both infiltrators opposite them and just said, yeah, we're doing this.
See, now...
It might not have been good.
Yeah.
But it would have been very
See,
tempting.
now, if you'd done that, then I would have set up Anakin with those 2. The Lat would have 3-banked to the left that turn. And then, alright, I don't have Oddball, but you don't have Aura.
Yeah,
so like,
it would be interesting. I'm not quite sure how I would have treated it when Anakin went there, but I would have been interesting to try and tempt you to that. But either way, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just set up my infiltrators, basically more on the left side of the center, going in between 2 rocks, and Dooku on the right side of the center, going in between 2 rocks. He's facing down the Lat and Plo, but in theory should be kind of okay because he's got a cloak. Like, he is going to be the most okay out of all the ships into this. And in my list, someone's got to take the punch. And honestly, if it's not Maul, it's kind of okay. And if it is Maul, it can be okay, thanks to Chancellor Palpatine. It just depends on how much damage he takes.
The really funny thing is, I completely forgot that it was Sok Dooku. So, like, when it came to the engagement, I was just expecting you to roll in cloaked, and I was going to be like, I'm just not going to shoot him. And then and I was like, oh, no, hang on, he doesn't do that. It's the wrong damn ability.
Wrong Dooku.
Other Dooku. But hey. Okay, so let's get into it.
And then Anakin deploys directly behind Plo.
Yeah. So I start off by two-straighting the lot, and you have jam from the decloak, so I start locking rocks.
Aura does a 3-bank, and I focus because I just want to. At this point, I was like, I don't know where Oddball's going, and so I'll just wait. I've got plenty of space to line up, and I think I've lined up the shot into the 212 next turn. If you do what I'm expecting to, then you're 5s.
Yeah, so
you are first player.
Plo just does the 2 straight and takes a lock. Rick does a 5 straight, gets his free evade and takes a lock. Oddball does the 1 hard and then banks to the right, because at that point, Aura's either going into the centre and I can swing around the side, pick up a lock and fire a plasma into her, or you turn away to face Oddball. And quite frankly, I will sacrifice that ship to have one of your 3 big hitters away from the majority of my list.
Yeah.
Like, if I can take out an infiltrator while only taking those 2 shots back, and I lose Oddball to Aura, fine. I think that's a net win.
It's funny when you did that in the next turn. I did think very seriously about Aura and Maul just trying to kill Oddball, and then hoping that Dooku could survive while cloaked.
Fair enough.
And boy, wouldn't that have been an interesting game.
Well, that is quite interesting because considering what
because of how the rest of the turn plays out, that would have been a very interesting turn. But it didn't happen.
Because of where I go, I still think I would have gone after Maul.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but it would have been interesting because there wouldn't have been so many range 1 shots.
Yeah.
But anyway, Maul does a 4 straight and focuses because I dialed this in because I was like, maybe I can cheese you. Maybe you come slightly too fast and we can start shooting, because I knew Anakin wouldn't be able to shoot unless you went absolute balls to the wall. I was like, if you come slightly too fast, I think I need to start trading shots as fast as possible. And anytime I can shoot where some of your ships aren't shooting is good.
Yeah.
So I just do a 4 straight and focus because I was like, maybe Oddball does a really fast move and, boosts a different way or whatever. You didn't, but I also wanted to get through the rocks as quick as possible. Dooku did a 1 straight and focused because he wants to stay back a little bit because he has a decloak space that he needs.
Yeah. And Anakin just does a 1 straight and locks a rock. And then, because you'd come so fast with Maul, I was like, all right, we're doing this then.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
So I do and ah about just diving on Oddball because I was like, I think I can do it and not like completely die.
Yeah.
And I was sort of at the point like, if I can take out 1 ship and not take too much damage, it might be okay because I'm outnumbered. I need to like pick up ships.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. I do something slightly different because I read correctly what the lot does. Is essentially was my plan, but then I screw up, and we'll get to that. So in turn 2, I am first player. You're still first player.
I'm still first player.
And I decloak Dooku 1 straight. I check the bullseye for the jam. It's not in range. I kind of didn't expect it to be, but you never know.
I 2-bank with the lot, and I reinforce to the front.
I do a 4 straight with Aura, and I take a target lock onto the lot.
Plo does a 4 straight, and I hecked this up. Because what he then does is he barrel rolls to the right with fine tune and boosts. Because I was expecting like a 1, maybe a 2 straight from Dooku, swing in, start punching 4 dice shots at me. So I'm trying to block that. What I wanted to do was boost past the rock and take a focus. But I was just too close. I should have dialed in the 3. But I was also concerned about getting past the lot because I originally dialed in a 3.
You want to be in front of him, right?
Yeah. Well, not just in front of him, just getting past. I originally dialed in a 3 bank, and I was slightly concerned that would clip. Looking at it now, I don't think it would.
I think he probably would have been fine. Yeah.
I think I could have banked and then fine-tune, boost forwards and focus, but yeah. So I'm kind of where I want to be, but basically with 1 force mod, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Rick does a 3 hard, takes his free evade. And then I'm not sure, like, because I thought I was going to clip Dooku, I'm looking at that going, Dooku might have a nice shot into Rick there. And I don't really want to start risking that. So I barrel roll to the right to make sure I'm out of that. And then Oddball just does a 3-bank round the rock. He boosts, he links it into a focus, and I lock Maul.
Into a lock, right?
Linked into a lock, and I lock Maul because I'm reasonably confident I'm going to have a shot on him, and I think I'm going to have the most shots on him.
Yeah.
And with Anakin... So I was going to say, with Anakin being the only one shooting before Oddball, I'd have to be quite lucky to strip all the shields, so the plasma could still be quite useful.
So I 3-bank with Maul here, and I go for So I go for a Tiger Lock action, and I realize I got everyone, and I end up locking Anakin, and this is the first of my mistakes, because I have forgotten how jam works. Because what I want to do, I've got a proton cannon on the LART, I've got a range 1 shot from Maul into the LART, and I know I've got a range 1 shot from Dooku into the LART coming, but there's that pesky reinforce. And then I target lock and think, oh, I've got Anakin, Anakin's coming in, and I know where Dooku's going to be, maybe I can try and plink off Anakin. This is a silly mistake, because the LART is what's going to be making your ships do all the damage. And if I have 3 shots into it, I should try and remove it, especially when I can get rid of the reinforce without much cost. Because Dooku can just jam it. But I forgot, because in my head I was like, well, he's got a lock, so there's no point jamming. That's not how jam works.
No, you pick.
I get to pick green token.
Also, even if you chose not to, like, Dooku is straddling, so reinforce wouldn't work.
So I lock Anakin with Maul. Dooku does a 3 straight over the top of Plo, and then locks Anakin.
So Anakin does a 2-bank in behind the LART, and I look at that and I'm like, I want to fire a torpedo into Maul, but I also have instinctive aim and fire convergence, so the lock isn't hugely necessary. But I'm looking at it going, from my side of the board, I wasn't sure if I was range 1 of Maul. Yeah. Looking at that, I don't think I am, but
no.
Different angles. I'm definitely range 1 of Dooku. So I actually opt to barrel roll to the right for a stress, just trying to get out of range of people. I looked at barrel rolling to the left. I didn't think I could get out of Dooku's arc.
I don't think you'd have got out of Dooku's arc.
So it wasn't worth it. Just make sure they're range 2 shots, basically.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
So yeah, we go shooting. And I do instinctive aim a torpedo into Maul. I get hit crit out of hand, so that becomes 2 crits. I spend fire convergence on the 2 blanks and end up with hit crit.
I roll a blank, so I take 3 shields, and I palp you.
And you palp me. And it takes me until the last turn.
The interesting thing about this turn is that you have a lot of stressed ships that are going to be shooting Maul.
Yeah. Oddball fires his plasma in. I get crit and 2 focuses, so I spend the target lock and convert to 2 hits and a crit.
I roll a focus. I spend a force to change it into an evade. So the plasma hits, and I take an additional 2 damage, because obviously you cancel crits first with plasma, yep. So that's half on Maul. And I palp you.
And you palp me, but you get the force back from hate.
Yeah.
Plo only has a range 2 shot into Aura. I roll focus crit, and I'm not spending that focus.
I roll 2 evades. Happy days.
Rick goes range 3, I believe, into Maul, because I just want to start trying to plink. I roll 1 crit and 1 blank. I fire convergence into a blank.
I roll 2 evades. Duke changes one of them down, but it doesn't matter. Then Dooku shoots into Anakin. I roll 2 focuses and a blank. I spend the lock and re-roll all of them into 2 blanks and a focus, so I malice for a crit for the fun of it.
I roll a focus, so I spend a force for an evade.
Very unfortunate. So then Maul goes, and I shoot into the LAT first.
Yep.
And I roll hit crit.
I get a blank, so that's both shields.
Then I spend 2 force to shoot into Anakin. I end up with 2 hits and a crit after malicing.
I roll a focus, so I spend my last force and take 2 shields.
Oof. Unfortunate. But then we got the proton cannon into the lat. Aura rolls pretty damn well with 3 hits and a focus, and I changed the focus to a crit with the proton cannon.
Oh, I realised I only took 1 shield on the 2/12 because the reinforce from Maul, because you got 2 through.
Yeah.
I it's range 3, but I blank out, so I get the reinforce. So it's hit. Well, the last shield hit and crit, and that crit is a panicked pilot. So I now have 2 ships with 2 stress, the lat with 3 stress. Not a whole lot of actions next turn.
Yeah, Maul has gone through all his force hilariously.
The lat goes range 1 into Maul, and I get 1 hit.
I roll a blank, so I take 1 more damage and get a force back. And I choose not to palp you because I figure 3 stress is probably enough.
Fair enough. And then we both score a point, I believe.
Yes.
So it's...
And I don't tick mine up for like a solid turn because I just forget to tick it up.
But it's fine. It's on the overlay. It's 4-1 at the moment.
Yeah. So, and this is where basically this is where my mistake is going to cost me for the rest of the game. Is that I should, because I was going for Anakin because I was like, if I can punch load into Anakin, that is I6 hammer gone. Then we're playing the I5 game, and that's something I can actually work with. I needed to remove the lat because the lat is the reason all of his shots are going to be hitting, like a lot, like very reliably.
Yeah.
Especially now that half his list is super stressed. Like they aren't taking actions for 2 turns, which means the lat is the reason they're getting rerolls.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, much as I want to try and kill Maul with the 3 health left, I don't have an easy way of getting multiple ships on him. So I actually make the conscious decision to change target priority and go for Aura. Although there is still a small part of me that wonders if I should have just 2-harded Anakin to the left. But yeah.
I mean,
I think my call is right.
I think your call is right. I make a second misjudgment here. Seeing it from it's hilarious. Seeing it from the side, it's really obvious it's not going to fit. But I just had the dream.
It makes a difference which way you're looking, doesn't it? So you're first player in this turn.
Yep. I elect to not drop a bomb with Aura because I just don't. I highly doubt Plo and Oddball are going anywhere near that back rock.
Interestingly, if I'd been first player, this would have made a hell of a lot of difference. But so I 2 straight the lat, which doesn't because Rick would have been in the way, so I don't think Maul goes anywhere.
It would have been really interesting.
But yeah, the lat just basically bumps into Maul and ditches one of his stress.
Aura does a 1 bank to the left, and I boost to the right because I was pretty sure Anakin was coming straight. Just because I knew where I had a feeling. Basically, I thought that the lat was going to bump. I thought Dooku was going to clear, and so I thought you wouldn't want to 2-hard Anakin because I thought it might get a little bit too close to the lat and wherever your ships. So I was like, okay, Anakin's coming straight. Let's try and line up a shot with Aura onto him.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I've just committed to the Anakin kill. However, Dooku's 5k doesn't fit, and I thought it was a lot. It looked a lot closer from my side. Looking at it from the side, it's not close. I should have just done a 1 straight. And so I bump into Anakin. Maul does a 3-hard to the right, just trying to get out of dodge and live for a couple more turns.
Oh, that one! I say that one caught me. I wasn't expecting that. So we go to my 5s.
And I take a focus for this.
Rick attempts.
I'm an R about coordinating, but I decided not to in the end.
Rick attempts a. Who would you have coordinated?
I was going to see if I could reach Aura.
Okay, I think that would have been a reach, but
yeah, it would have been a reach. But I was like, if I shouldn't need this focus was my thought.
Yeah, that's
in theory.
Fair. That's fair.
So I was like, what can I actually do with this action? Because the focus shouldn't be needed. Can I do anything? I was looking at, do I reach Aura? And if I had, then maybe Aura can focus or something like that. Unfortunately, again, because Dooku is stressed, I can't sneakily jam something.
When you were umming and ahhing over the chat, I thought you were considering a barrel roll. But
I possibly should have been looking at that, but I was like, but then I don't want to be stressed because I want to try and turn around with this boy.
Fair.
Because at the minute, I've got 3 health left. I'm not at death's door.
Rick attempts the 3 hard, which doesn't clear as it bumps into the front, takes the red focus. Obol does a 2 hard and just clears 1 of the stress. Plo does a 1 hard. Barrel rolls to the right with fine tune to line up the bullseye onto Aura and takes a focus. And then Anakin does a 2 straight to clear 1 of his stress and sits in front of Aura. So I shoot range 1 primary into Aura. I get 1 hit.
I get 1 evade.
I then double tap with the dorsal turret. I get focus hit crit. I spend the falls for hit crit.
I roll 2 blanks. So bam, 3 shields down on Aura. And then Maul shoots range 0 into Rick. I get 2 hits.
I blank out, so that's both the shields gone.
And today is the turn that everything goes through, basically.
Oddball goes range 1 into the back of Aura and gets nothing.
So I dodged a bullet there a little bit.
Plo has the range 2 bullseye shot into you. I roll hit blank. I add in the eyeball. I predator the blank into a hit and I spend the focus for 3.
I roll a single evade, so another 2 damage. That's half on Aura.
And then Rick does, I think, the range 0 into Maul, and I get hit crit.
Which then puts me in panic mode for Maul, because I'm now down to 1 health, and it's a console fire. Which means my turnarounds are not looking so good anymore, because I would risk dying to console fire.
Yeah. Then Aura.
And I think that was like the mini nail in the coffin, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh crap, that means my big ship has to go out. But then we go to Aura, and so Aura has saved her force this entire time. Luckily, didn't actually need to use it. And before she engages, I use her ability. I pick the Lart and Anakin, and I move Aura's lock on the Lart over to Anakin, and I move one of the Lart's stress over to Anakin, because I want to keep Anakin not having actions for as long as possible.
So that was really interesting, because I was actually happy that you moved it, because I'd rather have the Lart unstressed than Anakin, because Anakin can just instinctive aim a torpedo, and if he's got the Lart, he's got the rerolls. Like, he can cope without the actions. Whereas the Lart having it is just much more useful. Like, if I need to rotate, I need to rotate.
Yeah, but like for me, it was just a case of I need Anakin to not take actions, because I need him to not have any random reposition or stuff, because I was like, I need to kill a ship. So I need Anakin to be flying essentially straight, or with like very limited turns. So after the target lock, I end up with 3 hits into Anakin, and I Dooku a blank.
So I take the 3, which halves him, puts him down to 3.
So I score a glorious 2 points.
And then the Lart has a range 1 out the back into Dooku, and I get 2 hits.
And I get an evade, so I take a shield.
It's currently 8-4.
Yes. But I can't complain, because we both range 0 to each other and took 2 damage each. But the console fire on Maul is bad for me.
Yeah.
I should have remembered to bloomin' well palp you as well.
Yes. Yes, you should have.
That is range 0 to 2. I forgot I could palp you.
Funnily enough, I even stuck my hand over the card to double check whether it worked at range 0.
Yeah, I think I forgot to palp you. I think I just got into the range 0 mindset where I was like, oh yeah, well nothing works at range 0.
That's fair.
I should have palped you.
Yeah, because that would have made a difference.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn 4, and you're first player. Still no bomb.
I didn't drop a bomb, and I think I should have done.
Yeah, I think you should have. But also, I knew you were 1 harding to the left, because it was pretty much the only thing you could do. Maybe you just 1 straight and bump, but that puts you close to the rock for the next turn. So, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should have, but I wasn't 100% sure you were going after Aura at this point, because you'd halved Aura, and I was like, well, now maybe you go to half Dooku.
Nah, because the Lat had to move away, so going for the closest ship. And that does a one straight and rotates its turret to the right because I didn't think that Aura would be in it. Otherwise,
so Aura does a one hard to the left, and I reinforce my bum. Dooku does a one bank to clear the stress and just takes a target lock onto Anakin because at this point, why not? Maul does a 3 bank to the right and fixes the console fire, thereby consigning himself to being irrelevant for the rest of the game. But he's alive and banking 4 points.
Yeah.
And had I dealt a bit more damage and had a bit better target priority, I think I could have been okay with this. But unfortunately, at this point, I think I'm just too far behind.
Oddball does a 2 bank and takes a focus. Plo does 2 straight, and I go stupid mode here, trying to line up the bullseye. I barrel roll to the right, fine tuned, and then I boost in. And it pretty much means I'm guaranteed to go over the rock the next turn. Now, he's full health, but I don't line up the bullseye. What I should have done was just accepted that I wasn't lining up the bullseye and taken the focus. So at least I had...
I mean, what you did do here is straddle, so the reinforce doesn't do anything.
I did, but... yeah. I don't know. And yeah. I don't know. I still feel like that wasn't the right call, but
like I don't think it was the right call, but like at least it did something.
Yeah. Rick does a 3 bank, which clears his final stress. He gets his free evade, and what I want to do is boost to the left, but I think Anakin blocks that, so I just boost to the straight to try and get in closer to Aura. And then Anakin attempts a 3 bank, which the lat is well in the way of. But doesn't take a damage, so it is all good. My 6 isn't shooting, and neither are your 5s.
So it's over to your 5s, shooting into Aura, and we can probably shortcut this. Aura takes a lot of damage.
But doesn't...
But the reinforce saves her.
I mean, you say takes a lot of damage. 3 good shots into her, and I think I deal 4 out of the 5 required. Like, what was that? That was 4, 7, 10 dice on 6, and I did 4 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get a weapons failure, and that's quite useful.
Yeah. It's like 10 dice on 6, but it was also secretly 10 dice on 6 plus 3, right?
Yeah.
So I'm effectively getting an evade each time.
Well, yes, and I suppose
yes, like it's like
if you roll double evade, the reinforce probably isn't doing anything. But yeah, like, I'm not complaining. Like, I don't think it was an unfair amount of damage.
Yeah, I think it was just it was the amount of damage I expected after 3 shots.
Yeah.
So then Aura shot into Anakin, because at this point I was like, I gotta try. I rolled crit, focus, plated hull, changes it down to a hit.
I roll an evade. And then the lat has a range 2 shot. I get 1 crit, which you dodge.
Yeah. And then we both get a point, so 9-5.
9-5, but I got 2 of your ships on 1 now.
Yeah. So hilariously, I think I've said this several times in a row now, like, my list is doing what it's supposed to. I just haven't killed stuff.
Yeah.
Which is something to work on. I finally drop a seismic because now I've got to hit a bunch of your ships. I know I'm going to be hitting Dooku, but that is what it is.
Yeah. This is the turn I just decide to gift you loads of points because, I want to keep it close. Yeah. You are first player. You are first player for this turn.
Yeah.
I 1 bank the lot and I take a focus.
I pop contraband, I 3 bank and boost Aura, just trying to dodge as many shots as I possibly can. And then Dooku does a 2 hard to the left. And I think I've got a lock on Anakin, so I just take a focus, because I'm not actually sure where anyone's going to be. And Maul does a 2 sloop, basically lining himself to come back into the centre, although I don't have a whole lot of hope for that. Because Anakin can just kill him.
Oddball does a 1 bank, which is red. I bump into Dooku. What I should have done there was just done a 2 bank. And then I'd been able to take the focus. But I was slightly, in hindsight, in hindsight, it's not true. I was slightly concerned that you'd just do a 1 straight with Aura, because Rick doesn't really have a way of getting on that. Plo either has to try like the 5k over the rock, or you bump him on the rock. And I didn't know if you could get Dooku in the way of the 5k. And Oddball would bump in, so it would be a range 0.
Yeah.
And like maybe that's the way you negate as much damage as possible. But yeah, so that is what it is. Rick does a 5 straight, which does go over the rock, which I was surprised about because it didn't look like the template would go over the rock, but there we go. He takes 2 damage, which is half points on him. But it gets his free evade. I attempt to boost to the left. It doesn't fit. It would have gone off, so that's fine. Plo does a 5k, which goes over the rock. I kind of knew that one was. He takes 2 damage, so that's half points on him. So
suddenly we're 9-9.
9-9. And Anakin does A2 hard and clears one of his stress.
Yeah. That's what I expected. And this is why I was like, Maul coming back doesn't mean anything, because he's on 1 health. I'm either taking a proton torpedo or you're double tapping me before I can do anything.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm just like, this is probably over. Unless Aura can like do some cool fire spray stuff, and maybe Dooku can do Dooku things.
Yeah.
Either way, the bomb goes off.
The bomb goes off. Plinks a shield, I believe, or a damage off Dooku and a shield off Oddball.
Yeah.
So we go to Dooku.
And I just shoot range 3 into the lat. I get hit crit.
I roll focus blank. I spend the focus, because you malice for a second crit. I spend the focus to only take 1, and it is a structural damage.
So half points in the lat, so I get another 2 points.
So you're in the lead.
About 3 seconds.
Oddball has a range 3 shot into Aura. So I roll hit crit at a hand.
I roll focus blank, which means Aura's dying. Unfortunately, Aura is also dying before she gets to engage, which could have been interesting. And 4 points to you, so 13-11. And now it's the shoot Dooku train.
I have the range 1 bullseye shot from Plo. I roll hit focus. I add in the focus. I spend a fire convergence to re-roll the 2 eyeballs into 3 hits total.
And I roll 2 blank. No, I roll 1 blank, I believe it is. I don't know why I got 2 dice out.
You go down to 5 health.
Yeah, which halves me again, so you're up to 16.
And then the lat just has a range 3 shot. I get 2 hits, and you take 2 hits.
I roll 2 blanks, so I take 2 damage. Dooku's down to 3, Maul's on 1. So I know this game is over, but I'm like, okay, can I kill Anakin? Is the only thing I'm thinking at this point.
You don't have anyone range 2, so I score 2 points and got up to 18.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, at this point, Anakin just 1 straight, and either I double tap or torp Maul, and I just try and shoot Dooku. But like, I kind of like, if Maul dies, I win.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, even if he doesn't, all I got to do is claim 2 points and I win.
Yeah, like this game is over. But in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to maximize whatever I can do to Anakin. So I go for that. Even I know it. When you set a dial and you know it's not going to work, but you're just hoping like fate intervenes and it makes it work.
Yeah, I know.
That was basically what I had with Maul.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So you're first player for turn 6. I one bank the lot and just take a reinforce in case Dooku comes around that side and wants to try some janky stuff.
Yeah. I do a 4 straight with Maul because I'm like, I could go slow and then you'd talk me. Or I can go as fast as possible and just hope that you somehow bump. Like, I know you won't because you're just going to do a 1 straight. But it's one of those things where, like, maybe Sean just misset his dial or something. But, like, when you land it, I see even a 2 bank probably would have fit, right? Yeah. So, either way, I 4 straight. I just try to get as close as possible in the vain hope that... I don't actually know what the best chance is. I don't think there is a good chance. for Maul to live. Like, I go slow, you move forward, target lock, taunt me, and then I'm dead. If I at range 2, you can...
right might have kept you out of range.
Yeah, but not likely.
No,
it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, there's...
But I suppose not likely is better than like coming into range.
Yeah,
like you're counting on that bump, I suppose. Whereas if you've done a if you've done a one bank next turn, I have to 50-50 guess whether you're going to like too hard to the left and come that side or fall straight down the board edge. Like at least there's a 50-50 call there.
And I think if it weren't 18-11, I might have tried to survive. But because it was 18, and because like even if Maul lives this turn, you're on 19, and then it's like there's nothing I can do really.
Unless you kill Anakin.
Well, yeah, but unless I kill Anakin, but I felt like even then, let's say, I mean, basically, Dooku 3 hards over the rock to try and get behind Anakin, and I target lock you is essentially because I'm like going for the can I kill Anakin play. Which I think he weren't expecting.
No, I wasn't. And if you'd killed Anakin, and then I don't think I have a ship at range 2. I can't remember if the LART is. It's close.
Yeah.
But if the LART wasn't, then you're suddenly on 16 to 18.
Yeah. And
my ships are all facing kind of the wrong way. But...
yeah, that's fair. I think... you might have a point, actually. I think I just didn't think that Maul was going to be able to avoid it, so I was just trying to go for the, right, screw it. Let's try and make him not throw 4 dice. I'd rather take 3 twice against 1 than 4 once.
I mean, that makes sense. That's fair.
Maybe mathematically that's stupid.
It's a hard... I mean, it's a hard judge, because I was back up to full force, so it's a double modded... yeah. Protorp. If I didn't get 2 results off that, it would be a pretty bad swing.
Right. So it's one of those things. It's like maybe I'm wrong mathematically, but I thought 3 twice. There is the chance, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very slim chance.
But... yeah. Rick does a 3 hard and focus evades. Oddball does a 2 hard, just takes focus. Rick does Plo does a 1 bank because I wasn't expecting the 3 hard. I was expecting Dooku to go the other way. I'm reasonably confident this will be the last turn, particularly now that Maul's moved. So I fine-tune control to barrel roll in behind Dooku, right in front of the rock, and I take a focus. And Anakin 1 straights and target locks Maul, because I'm like, alright, we double tap or we talk. It is range 1, so I fire the primary and roll hit crit.
Cool, which means Maul is dead. I roll the focus, I spend the force to give it an evade, and then I pout you because why not?
Yeah.
Dooku shoots range 2 into you. I roll hit blank focus. I spend a lock on the blank into a hit, and then I malice for a crit because I'm just having some fun.
At this point,
Sean did point out to me that I'm being stupid and I can mathematically kill Anakin if I just spend the focus and then Dooku you.
Yes.
But at this point, I was like, I've lost. I don't care. I want to use the abilities. Malice!
Fair. So I need to roll paint to survive. Of course, I don't. So I do die anyway. But then I refuse to take a pilot crit for malice because,
yeah, so
Anakin does die. And then Plo has a range 1 shot into you. I roll hit focus and I spend the focus.
Cool. And then Dooku dies because Dooku only took 1 damage off the rock, but that put him down to 2 health, and then Dooku is dead.
And I score 2 points for 27-14.
But we probably should have checked that hilariously. Now that I think about it, is anyone actually in range of the center?
Yeah, no, did you not see it flash up? We do actually check.
I didn't see it flash up. Okay.
The lat's in range.
Oh, if the lat's in range, then yeah.
Just.
I was just thinking, like, wait a second. We just had that whole discussion of, do you have anyone in the center? I was like...
I kind of had that discussion knowing the lat was in range, but yeah, if you watch it back, it pops up.
Yeah, okay.
But
either way...
like the fact
this list is way more fun than it has any right to be.
Like, I don't want to say you misplayed, but like the 5k was unfortunate. And all right, let's not look too much into the final score because I just blatted 2 of your ships right on the last turn. Like, you weren't far away up until that turn. And so,
I think
if Dooku had been doing stuff more, and like if you hadn't have been unlucky enough to pull the console fire in particular on the crit on Maul could have been back in a turn earlier.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is I think I misplayed this list, and I think I misread the target I needed to go for in your list.
Yes.
Especially, and it's one of those things like, yes, I didn't want to shoot you because of the reinforce, but I literally have the guy who can get rid of the reinforce.
Yeah.
And I rolled up to range 1 of you and just chose not to because at that point I had already baited myself into trying to kill Anakin.
Yeah,
even though I knew that the proton cannon had a shot into you, and that I'd have 2 other range 1 shots beforehand, so that meant the proton cannon was likely going on to Hull.
Yeah. I was expecting the jam, and then I was expecting Maul to do the double tap, and
yeah. But that's just, I don't know why I just mentally blanked myself and was like, oh yeah, well I can't jam you because you've got a lock. That's literally my thought process, which is why I didn't do it. Or it's not why I didn't do it. It's why I didn't consider it as an option. Because obviously I moved Dooku after Maul, so at that point I'd already said, okay, I'm locking this person.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that was just... Yeah, I just misplayed. I misplayed and I got punished, and it is what it is. Maybe I should have dropped the bomb on the previous turn of Aura, but I also think that would have just... I also think... I was thinking I can't afford to take a damage on Aura because there's lots of ships around.
Yeah, that's fair.
And taking 1 damage on all of your ships isn't worth me dying. And in hindsight, it turns out, I would have died.
Yeah, you would have died, yeah.
Most importantly, would have been initiative killed, pretty much, right?
Yeah. And actually...
Like, I completely dodged the 212
I mean,
shot.
it is completely hindsight, but... it would have stopped depending on which rock you blew up, either Plo or Rick giving up half points because there wouldn't have been a rock for them to go over.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have dropped one there, and alright, great. Hindsight says you shouldn't have, but that is
it's one of those things where I was looking at it thinking like, I think I can't drop it here because Aura is too close.
Yeah.
It was like one of those weird things where like, I need the rock to be annoying to you more than I need 1 damage on people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Aura only had 1 way to go.
Yeah.
But your list is pretty...
I quite like it. Like, now I've had a couple of games with it, so I'm not just concentrating wholly. Like, I still made some mistakes there, but it's fun. Now, admittedly, this is probably my... I say this and Assault are my best scenarios because the not having to use an action is definitely where this list is better because everyone wants their actions, but it's still good even with
it's just solid. You're high initiative. The last is annoying, and I think people will... If you play it right, people will think, oh, we don't need to shoot the LART. Like I did. Like, I should have shot the LART, but I didn't quite... It's one of those things where it's like, until you're in the middle of the game and you're like, right, he's getting loads of rerolls. He doesn't need all these locks. Because I was like, well, at some point he's got to break his locks off the rocks, right? It's like, no, you didn't. In fact, the locks on the rocks got broken because I blew up the rocks.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that end game, Rick and Plo still have a lock, and so does... I
think that's Anakin's.
I think that's
Anakin. No, it's Anakin's that didn't get moved. I have a funny feeling.
Yeah, like... Yeah, I just don't need them. It's good. I do like this list. It's tempting for Nationals.
I like this list way more than I should. I shouldn't like this list. This is a silly list, but I love it.
Nah, but they're always the fun ones.
Palpatine is so goddamn good. Yes. Now he's actually at a playable points level.
Yeah. Palp is good. Particularly on something like the Infiltrator, where you can get a decent amount of force on it. So
yeah. And I definitely screwed up by letting the LART take actions. You're right. Anakin didn't need actions. I should have made it so that you couldn't rotate that turret. So you'd have to at least...
Well, Well, I would have had to hard turn.
If anything, I should have moved Anakin's stress onto the lat.
Yeah.
Like, moving the lock was completely sensible. That's basically... I was a completely sensible idea. Moving the lock over, easy peasy. I should have...
It's fundamentally not important, but I've realised that not once in that game did I bother trying to use Anakin's ability. Because I could have ditched those stress bloody ages. I could have ditched them.
Oh, wait, yes, you could have.
Although, to be fair...
Doesn't it need someone at range 1 or in bullseye or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I rocked up in front of Aura, she was
Aura,
there.
Yeah.
I cleared one, I could have cleared the second and then got an action. Now, admittedly, I think at that point I was only on one force, so whether I opt to
I think you're right. You were on one force because I remember you spending your last one to get the third hit into Aura.
Yeah, like because I'd used all of them the turn before to get one evade on everything coming into me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it probably still would have been worth it, but like, it's really weird that like on the deltas or the Eta, you're constantly looking for that. I didn't even think about it on the Y-wings. Just rock up, fire the torpedo. Don't need a lock. I got instinctive aim. Right. Probably should have though, because I could have ditched it and then had a focus, and that's better than a force, right?
That is better than a force.
And then I could have 5k'd next turn if you hadn't have, and you wouldn't have had another stress to shove over. Oh no, well you shoved the stress the other way, but then I've only got one stress, and
yeah. Well, no, what I could have done. We're getting into the weeds at this point. Like, had you had no stress, what I might have been tempted to do was take all of the stress off the lat and put it on Anakin, because the lat still had 2 stress at this point.
Again, I would have been happy with that, but
yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. Like that, we would have been in the exact same situation as we ended up being, and it's still a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
I should have left the lat with the turret facing forward backward, because at the time you were moving, I would have just had less ships in the lat's arc, and that just means I would have taken less damage.
Yeah.
Like, and 1 or 2 less damage taken in this list is really important, because then you live on that extra little bit of health.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on those words of wisdom, we better wrap it up for this week.
We'll be back. Game. I'm probably not going to take this list to the Tin Nationals, but it's very fun.
I will probably be back next week with the same list, because I am quite enjoying it.
That's fair. I don't know what I'll bring next week to the podcast.
That's fair.
Whatever nonsense I've got in my brain.
Well, you got a few days to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, we'll just say see you guys next week.
Ta-ta for now.